to episode 2 of Youth Plus Radio, the channel where we're taking things beyond conversations and recognizing the youth in action wherever they may be. Today we have two great guests with us. We have Lynn Achieng, the head baker of Lynn Blinked, the go-to bakery that was born to bake you happy.
Absolutely.
Did I get that right? Yeah?
Yeah, you did.
And we also have Mukiza Mwenesi, who's the founder, I guess, reluctant, but the brains behind Muka, which is an audiovisual agency who aims to be the most innovative in the market, I believe.
Oh, definitely, Fred.
Welcome, guys. How have you guys been?
Thank you. Good. It's been amazing.
Been fantastic.
Yeah.
How's Biashara?
Biashara iko tu sawa. I can't complain.
If you guys had to describe your entrepreneurial journeys with your respective companies, because it's great that one of them is a service-based company being Muka, and the other is product-based being Lynn Blinked.
I would say like mine is more product and service.
Yes, true, and service as well.
Yes.
How did you guys get started with your respective companies?
Well, should I go or do you want
No,
to
please, ladies first.
All right, so my company started off ideally as a catering company. My idea, so this is what took me to Blaze, and I think that's where we met, Fred.
Yes.
So my idea was to do catering and generally just provide food for bachelors and bachelorettes, because we had realized that there was a gap there. Like bachelors were having, not street food per se, but fast foods, and they were in need of homemade food that was fresh and nice. So we were closing on that gap. But I realized, first of all, that the logistics were crazy and I was spending so much money. So my profit margin was very small. But on the side, I was also doing cakes. So I just did a cost benefit. And I said, okay, cakes make me more money and without a lot of, pressure and work. So I just said, you know what, I love doing this. Let me just focus on this. So that's how I ended up doing baking. So I shifted from being a catering company into a baking company in 2016. So I have been baking since 2016.
Wow.
Yes.
But that shift is very interesting, because as an entrepreneur, deciding or coming to the decision to make that shift is usually very scary, and it's a brave decision one has to make.
It is, because now that means I had to lose clients and start looking for others. Yes. So I literally just had to, go out there and say, and you just put yourself out there literally. And word of mouth has also really, really helped me grow. So the product itself is really good. So people talk about it, of course. So yeah.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah.
For you, Mukiza, how did you get started?
It's actually a really funny story, because I started business because I was coming from a background where I needed money to hang out with my friends. It wasn't this Isaac Newton kind of thing where I was like, oh, let me create something. But I actually started because I needed pocket money. And we came from a background where if you want something, you need to go and get it. We don't come from the situational analysis where you just ask for it. And so early on, I was taught that, okay, you're good in the creative arts. And because you're good in your creative arts, you need to find something that is able to sustain you.
Absolutely.
And so Muka ideally started as a design and branding company. We used to print T-shirts for some of my clients, where we'd print T-shirts, we'd print hoodies, business cards, and everything. And I think coming over the years is when we had to improvise and adapt, just to bring in a product that was more mind-based. I call it mind-based and not product-based, because I realized with a product you can only charge so much.
Yeah.
Right.
If I'm going to sell you a hoodie, if I go above 3,000, you're gonna ask, that thing better keep me warm in the water. And so one of the biggest transitions, just like Lynn is talking about, is I had to get to the point where I asked myself, how can I make enough money to sustain the kind of lifestyle
that you want?
I can see some people having. And so I sat down and I realized that a lot of these things can be done through, you can't question my mind.
Yeah.
If I tell you I want to design you something that's going to cost you X amount, it's very hard for you to question. But if I'm giving you a product for that amount of money, then you can say, okay, this guy is going to do it at this cost, or I know where you normally get this. And so for me, my business started out of a need where I saw guys going for sherehe, and I was like, hey.
I also want to do sherehe like you guys.
I want to do sherehe like you guys. And I just never had the opportunity, so I found a way to get a few shillings out of the creative arts that I came into.
I mean, it's still the classic hardware versus software question. one of you selling hardware, which again your markup has to be limited to what the market is selling for the same hardware. But in terms of the software, I mean, if my idea is worth X amount or is worth 2X, it's a very different argument because your idea is unique to who you are and what you bring to the table. I mean, similarly, even with your business with cakes, I'm sure your recipes or your designs and the styles of the cakes is unique to you.
Absolutely.
Getting that first client, where did you guys start from?
So for me, I started from, it was my friends. So I remember it was so vividly. So a friend of mine was coming back from Israel, and so we were doing just something small to celebrate his achievements while in Israel. So my friend asked me to bake the cake. So I did, and I decorated it to the best of my knowledge and skill at that time. But other people were like, okay, so just as a buffer, let's bring cakes from elsewhere as well. So we had like 3 cakes in that event. But fun enough, mine is one that ended fast, and the rest remained. So my product was really good. My finishing wasn't as good, but it was really good on the inside. So from there now, I got more clients because, being a big gathering of people coming together, so 2 people will have a birthday next week, and they'll be like, Lynette, make me a cake. And just from there, and then these 2 people tell other 2 people, and I just grew my network from there. So for me, that's where I started. It's just from a friend, and then a friend telling a friend, and then just like that. And then I opened my social media page and on Instagram and Facebook, and also with the help of my family and my family's friends and everything. So that's just how I penetrated into the market. And I think also over the years, you just as you learn and as you improve on your skill, like you realize that okay, people are actually appreciative of what is inside. But now you also have to perfect the outside, because there are those who actually wanakula na macho kwanza. So you literally have to perfect the outside as well. So YouTube University did a thing on me, and we graduated with flying colors. and so I think it's just been like an upward trajectory for me ever since. Like I love challenges. I love someone telling me, make for me a cake, a cake out of a plane, or a plane out of a cake. I don't know how that the order goes, but yeah. So I love challenges and just trying to position yourself on a competitive edge, because there's so many bakers in Kenya right now. So you really have to put yourself on a competitive edge. You're giving a crisp, clean looking kind of cake, but it's so good. It's as good as it looks. Exactly. So for me, that is my principle and what I work with. It has to be as good as it looks on the outside going in.
Oh, fantastic.
Quite inspiring. Unfortunately, mine is not as inspiring.
Was it one of your friends who...
No, and funny enough, I'm going to remix one of these quotes that says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. Because funny enough, my first client I was dating by the time I had started my company. And because the person played a very integral role in starting the company, because she played as a support system. Her parents were actually my first client. And it was a very funny instance where her mom came to me and asked me, hey, I'm having a conference with these people. Do you want to do the branding for it? And I had no idea what I was doing, by the way. I had no idea what I was doing. And so she came and said, there are going to be 500 people. I'm training them on what I do. And are you able to assist us just creating a brand out of it? I quickly went on to Google. And I researched. Your friend, man. and it's something that we really do need to talk about at length, because jumping into Google, I saw the kind of branding that people were doing. By the time I was starting my company in 2014, I had gone for quite a bit of conferences. And I said, let me bring something new into the market. Let me bring something that people have never seen. And so I did the simplest thing that really blew people's minds. I took a normal box file. I removed the coverings of Office Point, and I printed the box file and put in the covering of the logo and the name of the conference. Apparently, people had never seen that in 2014.
Wow.
And so the client was so amazed at how now my partner's mom had just taken initiative to give the business that special touch just for them, and it led to so much more work. And so the thing that I did learn from that aspect is that your first clients are actually the people closest to you.
True.
Your business starts with the people in the room that you're sitting with and telling them, by the way, I want to do X, Y, and Z. Those tend to be the people who kick you off on the trajectory saying, okay, let's support you. And after we supported you, let life push you through it.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got my first client.
And since then, you guys just took it and ran with it.
Absolutely.
Any fears of what existing players in the market would how they would react to your product? Because for you, Lynn, you're doing exceptionally crafted and decorated cakes that also taste as good as they look. And for you, Muka, you're doing innovative things which guys might seem simple, but in branding terms, people are just overlooking. So any fears that maybe you're doing your jobs too well? I know it might sound a bit ridiculous, but any fears that you don't want to disturb any big players, then they come?
Oh no.
No?
Oh, no. Like, if anything, for me, I want to get there. Like, I want to be where like the big bakers, are. But for me, I don't think my vision is in owning a walk-in bakery per se. But I just want to have like a factory, like literally a space where I just make my cakes and
ship them out to
different clients, on corporate clients. Every like, I just want to expand my workshop and just I think that for me is my vision. But I definitely look at the big players in the market right now with regards to baking, and I just try and follow suit. Like, what are they doing differently? Actually, for me, my fear is that I'm being left behind. Because you see, technology and innovations keep changing and they keep improving. So you have to really keep yourself up to date, because you'll be utapitwa na wakati. And that one is my greatest fear, to be honest, because you might find yourself over there making the regular, round cakes, and people actually doing totally different things that are being appreciated more in the market. Because as in right now, my clients usually, okay, so what's new? What's new? What are you doing new? Even with regards to flavors, like, what crazy flavors are you doing right now? So that keeps me on edge. Like, what is the new thing in the market right now? What's happening? Like, how do I, improve? How do I match up? How do I even probably go beyond? So you have to keep yourself informed. So definitely.
And adapt to the market as well.
Absolutely.
Very true.
Absolutely.
Very true.
Yeah.
I think in terms of Muka, I did get into the market with that approach. I got with the approach that, okay, there are guys doing these amazing things and I can never match up because my pocket isn't as deep, or I don't have as quality equipment, or I don't have a big team, because I was running Muka as a two-man show. And running it as a two-man show, you're walking into someone's workshop and you're seeing 20 or 15 guys and you're like, wow, this is amazing. But just to take you back, and from a story of it, I did a logo for a client. And I remember I walked in, and because, as a designer, things are a bit tough. If you send the client the logo on a soft copy, they'll tell you, we didn't like the work. And then 3 weeks later, they've changed one letter to form a different side. And then they're telling you, this is a new design. Yeah. And so I sat with the client at ABC Place, Java. And I sat down and I told him, okay, I've done your logo and I'm going to charge you 10,000. And he looked at the logo. He looked at the mock-up I had did. He looked at everything else. He looked at me and said, 10,000. Okay, that's cute, but I'm going to give you 60,000 because your work is worth that. I sat down and I said, what?
You're selling yourself short.
Literally, as in, you can see the reaction that Lynn is having. I had that same reaction. And I looked at him, and I'm young. I'm just fresh out of uni, and I'm thinking, not uni, of high school. And I'm thinking, you're going to give me 60,000 shillings just for a logo. This is madness. And from that day, and he said, your logo is worth, I've paid 200,000 for logos, and none of them have come close to this.
Oh my word.
And I sat down and I said, what's happening here? And so it's from that day that, in fact, I was looking for those industry leaders. I was looking for the likes of Scanad. I was looking for all of them because I wanted to put my foot in the ground and let them know that, look, I'm coming. Even if I'm not going to get there today or tomorrow, give me a year.
I'm coming.
We're gonna be fighting for these clients.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. And so I tend to think that everyone does jump in with that timid approach, thinking, am I good enough? And then you just find that one client who slaps you in the back. It's not even a pat. He slaps you in the back and he tells you, listen, you're better than this. Come on, push on. And so from then on, it's just been a continuous following of Scanad. Or you guys have done X, Y, and Z higher. How can I do X, Y, and Z in a better way? And one thing I was always told that's actually helped me push in front of the market is your competition isn't in Kenya.
True.
Okay, I never used to understand it until it finally hit home that your competition isn't in Kenya.
It's not here.
There are people baking in Kenya, but if you look at the cakes being made abroad, you'll
Amazing.
see it's something out of this world. Or the designs being done
Absolutely.
in the States. And I sat down and I said, okay, so if I'm benchmarking with these guys here, how can I take myself 5 steps up so that even when a Kenyan client sees my content, they're like, okay, this guy's on another level altogether. And so to answer your question, Fred, yes, I entered very scared. And I am very shocked that not everyone entered that way. But I do thank my clients who came in and pushed me and just showed me that, listen, if you're going to jump into this, it's called self-employment. You know, we call it entrepreneurship, so we can start, and half of us can't even spell it. I don't know who thought of that word. But yeah, you jump into this self-employment, and if you're gonna jump in, you better put both feet in. You can't just touch it with your toes and say, no, it's a bit cold, let me go back. And so I was pushed and I was told you need to jump in. And once you've jumped in, put both feet in, and if you're going to drown, as long as you don't die, just keep at it.
But actually, that's quite interesting what he's mentioned about, selling yourself short. Because, like I have also encountered a client such as that. And, she told me, like, your cakes are amazing. And I gave her the quote. I did a quote for her for her wedding cake. And she told me, okay, this is actually really nice, but quote me properly. And I'm like, so what do you mean, like, quote you properly? She's like, yeah, I feel like this is too little for the kind of thing that you're going to do for me. I mean, quote me properly. And I went back and asked myself, oh my God, have I been selling myself too short? Like all this time. So actually, that's something that I think most, young entrepreneurs, that's a challenge actually with young entrepreneurs, selling yourself short, because it's either one, you're afraid of not getting that client, or two, I just don't know, you just have, self-esteem. I don't know, but I don't know, how do we curb that,
Honestly, it's a very thin line. It's a very thin line between quoting your value or the value you're offering, and sort of curbing to pressure from whichever client it is. Because sometimes I think there's a negative perception around young people doing business. They assume because even though you may be doing quality that's as good as companies that have existed for decades, when you're kijana, you're just young.
You don't need too much money.
You don't need that 60, because there's a client who could just take that 10K, run with it, or the price of that cake and run with it, and they'll come back and you'll feel like this is your best client, but it's a very thin line between offering and demonstrating that value and why your quotes are what it is, and settling.
I think just to jump in really slowly, and it's something that we've been taught, I think even just growing up, we're told that you need to go slowly. You can't just be fresh out of uni and you're the one making 800,000 a month. Yet we started at these clerical jobs, and it's something that's ingrained in our minds, and I wish we teach it different to the up and coming entrepreneurs. That you can be the next Elon Musk. You don't have to take 30 years. You can be the next Mark Zuckerberg. You don't have to take those 10-15 years that were taken to build Facebook. If you have an idea, jump in, because the biggest challenge is they're always asking, and I always get that challenge, is you as a 20-something-year-old, why should I pay you? And my staff here who is 60 is, or not, or 60 is a bit much, or say 35, 37, who's been in the market, has all the experience, is being paid half or a quarter of what it is. At the end of the day, as entrepreneurs, we need to learn that you need to know your value.
Absolutely.
Because you're paid for value, not for time. If it takes you 3 days to scribble on, like the Coca-Cola logo, it was done in what, 3-4 days? Yet there are other logos that were done in months with back and forth. But the argument stands as, I'm giving you value. I've learned how to perfect this skill so well that I'm able to push it out in such a short time. And so there's always this big fight of, you're young, you don't have that much responsibilities, you shouldn't be getting this amount of money. As opposed to, you're adding so much value to us, let me pay you for what your value actually shows.
I guess could it also be a confidence thing, where yes, you understand your value, but when you're questioned or there's that back and forth with the client, because I've been in this situation where I felt I sort of like retreated a bit, I guess out of fear of losing that job, So could confidence play a part in it as well?
Well, I think confidence plays a huge part in everything, because just as they say, like when that kind of mindset has been inculcated in you, like go slowly, you don't need that much money, you don't do, so it's already in your head. So by the time you're going to negotiate with a client, you're going with that mindset. You're going with that mentality in your head that I don't need to charge so much, I don't need too much money. So you're not charging for what your value actually is. So it could be a confidence issue, but it could also be like what we have been taught, like from when we were younger. So I think I would really just reference to what he said. Yeah.
I'd say it's life. Life is a conundrum. I'd call it that. Because I keep asking myself, where does confidence come from? It comes from the repeat clientele. I've done so much work with Lynn, or I've tasted Lynn's cake so much that if tomorrow she comes and tells me that I'm going to give you this cake for 25,000, even if it's a slice of Black Forest or something, she's confident enough to tell me that because she knows the effort she puts into this cake is what, because she's gotten clients telling her, oh my God. By the time she's making a president a cake for his inauguration or a president's birthday, and she comes and tells you, oh, okay, guys, I'm going to give you this cake for what, 15,000, a half kg. You're like, hey, okay. Because her confidence has gotten to the point where she's like, if you don't like my product, you can bounce. It's okay. I've already gotten, I've reached the threshold of the 15Ks and above. And so I'd say we as entrepreneurs need to, one, be able to pat ourselves on the back. You need to be able to ask yourself, where am I going in the next couple of years? Then you also need to be able to work with your clients to actually get that positive feedback. Because entrepreneurship is about criticism. Self-employment is about being told you put too much sugar in this cake, or your design has too much red, or your videography is crap, or your audio is... It's about that criticism. But once you get that audio, what that means is I'm more confident and I can charge you like a 5,000-10,000 more, because I did a course for 1,000 that taught me how to do better audio. And so it's a progressive thing where we need to always balance time and value, which brings in that confidence, in my opinion.
That's right.
And speaking of that confidence, mentorship wise, what has that side of life, side of business been like for you? Whether it's getting a mentor, whether that mentor is specifically aligned to your respective businesses, and what those experiences were. How has your mentorship sort of journey been like?
Okay, I think you can go first.
Okay, thank you, Lynn. I'd say that I've been very fortunate to get a different array of mentors. One thing I do tell fellow entrepreneurs is you don't need a mentor in your field. You just need to find someone who you admire what they're doing, okay? If I see person X is very good at his networking and is a lawyer, I am more inclined to go and talk to person X and think about how can you teach me to network?
Absolutely.
If I see person Y is good at finance and they are a business owner, okay, how can I learn finance from you? Maybe I don't like your product, but I've seen how you're able to put your money aside and it plays a long way. And so in my opinion, when it comes to mentorship, I say everyone does need a mentor because what they're doing is they're cutting off that 10 years experience that you need to go through and they're helping you achieve it in a year or two.
Absolutely.
They don't have to particularly be in your field, but they have to possess something that you aspire to be when you get there. But besides just mentorship, there's something that Just Ivy Africa put on her LinkedIn that talks about having a board of directors. Having a board of directors for me, for yourself actually, not even for your company, also plays a very big role in how the mentorship program comes in. Because the board of directors comprises of 4 people. One, you have the mentor. The mentor themselves plays a big role in showing you your potential, your skills, and just, telling you that, yes, this can be done if you do it this way or that way. After that is the sponsor, the person who is always going to say, I have tasted these cakes and listen to me. This cake is the truth. Or this guy may not give you the best quality, but if he says Tuesday, he is going to deliver what you need on Tuesday. That's the sponsor. Then there's the connector, that person who just knows everyone. You walk into a room and the person is always greeting hands. Some people find it annoying, but you never know where the next business is coming from. And the 4th person was the knowledgeable person. The person who, if you're making a mess up in your business, they actually do have the knowledge to come and tell you, listen, you're going the wrong way here. If you actually do want to have, we can use audio in this setup. If you want to have good audio, change your mic or change just this wire. These wires are known to be a bit slippery. And so if you change this wire, you're going to get that audio properly. These don't necessarily have to be 5 different people, but when they are, you're able to get insights from so many different areas, and they can all play the same role. You can always ask for advice from this person, ask this person to connect. So I'd say having that one mentor is very important, but always also look into having that board of directors, because they really open up your mind to different opportunities and getting better at what you do. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's actually very, very interesting. Because I think, I my experience with I have very different mentors who are giving me different values for what I want. I think I have a board of directors, it's just that they don't know they are in my board. That I consult with regards to all those things. But there's this one particular mentor of mine who is, am I allowed to mention their names?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
And the company.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's the CEO and owner, I think founder of, all about the social value, CEO, owner, founder of Game Changer Marketing. So I met her while we were at Blaze, and I think she's the one who actually approached me and literally held my hand through the journey, because I was so green. I was just this little girl who had an idea, but I was just groping in the dark. I didn't have any direction. So she sat me down and she told me, okay, I have tasted your cakes. I have seen your work. It's amazing. So first of all, I'm enrolling you as one of my suppliers for my company, and nice. We have had a beautiful roller coaster ever since we started 5 years ago. Can you imagine? We have seen the best and the worst in our relationship, but she has literally held my hand, and she's that one person that you call her and she'll make time for you, you know. And it's such a humbling experience for such a person to say, okay, I have time for you. Come at 1 p.m. I can sit down with you, tell me what your problem is, blah blah blah, or let's talk about how we can scale you up.
Right.
Or something like that. And literally, she's the one who held my hand during COVID. She was struggling as much as I was, but she's the one who is literally giving me a straw to clutch on. So, so that was very interesting. So that is my go-to mentor. But of course, I have other mentors who actually don't know they're my mentors, because I consult a lot from them, in terms of how to efficiently or effectively do my marketing, how to deal with customer complaints and all that. So various aspects to the business that I get from my different mentors and what they're actually really, really good at. I have one of my friends who is really, and he is ananipigianga debe sana, and I'm just like, oh my word, this person, I need to just give him a portion of my company for the work that he does for me. So he really pushes for me my product. But of course, as much as you're having all these people pushing for you, your product really has to also speak for itself.
Speaks for itself, yeah.
So I think I have all this, as you say, you really can't have just one mentor, but you really have to explore other people who have different things that you would love to learn to improve your company or improve yourself, or things that will scale you up in your company. So I think.
And you guys have mentioned something very important about the mentorship, and that's, I guess, the intentionality behind it from the point of view of you as the young entrepreneur. Because these are people who, if we're aspiring to them, then for sure they're doing great things in their respective fields.
Yes.
And their time is very limited, but also very valuable. So it has to be that intentional relationship whereby even if they're giving you an hour of your time, you already know what questions you're going in there with. My mentor used to give me assignments, so he'd ask me to do a couple of things, and by the next time we're meeting, I should have, whether it's a vision board, whether it's a 2-year plan, whether it's whatever the case may be. So that intentionality behind mentorship,
yes,
it still remains a two-way street.
Absolutely.
I think once you approach it that way, you get a lot more value than you would if you take it a bit passively.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
But I think just owing to what you said, Fred, people do need to realize that these mentors also have things to do.
Absolutely.
Like this guy or lady hasn't really just signed up to be full-time mentor to small business. And so because it's a very big challenge that a lot of people come to me with, and they ask me, how can I get a mentor, or what value am I going to add to the mentor? We need to always understand that even this guy or lady is looking for bread for their family. Let me put it in that sense. They don't have the whole day to come and teach you X, Y, and Z. So even as you're approaching me and asking me about business advice, I'd really hate to sit down with you for an hour and then next week you come and ask me the same thing.
Yeah, that's right.
And so the mentorship, the joining of a mentor and a mentee, it's not the obvious, hi, can you be my mentor? It's the, you've asked so many questions and this person sees something in themselves, that something, they see a younger version of themselves, or even just a bit or a part, and they're like, let me hold your hand through it. So we as mentees also need to understand that as we jump into that game of mentee-mentorship relationship, it's a give and take. If I feel like you're wasting my time, you'll be like, hey, can we meet tomorrow? No, sorry. I have a meeting. Do you have any other time? I'll let you know.
I'll let you know.
If you ever get there, I'll let you know.
You're doing something wrong.
Exactly.
You're doing something wrong.
And so we need to know the value that you need to go in with a purpose. You don't just go and say, oh my God, you have such nice hair. Go in and jump in and just know I have this hour, let me make the best out of it.
Absolutely.
And the next hour that comes, and also try and add value. One of the biggest ways I found I can add value to my mentor is doing some free work for them. And I know people really complain about this, you know, pay creatives, free work, but I hope we get a chance to talk about it, because there's also quite a bit to speak on. But I realized that because I can't give this person financial value, what I can do is when they're in a fix or I see one of their presentations isn't working, I can say, hey, yo, give me just this 2 hours, let me fix your presentation. And so he knows, okay, fine, this guy has been fixing my presentations, or when I need that last minute guy to come and give me t-shirts, this guy is going to come through. And so it has to be a symbiotic relationship.
Absolutely.
You have to give me something as you take something from it.
That's actually quite interesting, because just recently I was celebrating our 5-year anniversary with Game Changer. And like naturally I took cake to the organization, like I think 3 different cakes with the new flavor that I was trying out, blah blah blah. And when the speech part, I think I actually got to understand what you're trying to say. Like the reason why she has really stuck with me is because she also learned something from me. And that was really like mind-blowing. Like I thought I was the one who was taking from you, kumbe. I'm also inspiring you in different ways. Like and she's actually actualizing the things that she's learning from me to better her company as well. So hence the symbiotic relationship. Like because I believe like one of the things that really, really work for me in my company is the customer service. Like I think I do my customer service. Let me give myself a 90%. Let me give myself a 90%. So that is what she has seen from me, and she's doing the same thing for her clients. And she gets to retain her clients out of that, you know, small gesture, you know, a cake here and there, a small token of appreciation, you know, even if it's a pen like this with your name written over there, you know, just the small things that are very sentimental and have a personal touch, you know. So those things are what she has implemented in her company. That's what really helped her, you know, augment the relationship that she has with her clients. So yeah, what I do for her is what now she does to her clients.
Lynn, you mentioned something earlier around your relationship with your mentor during COVID.
Yeah.
If you guys don't mind, for whether that's on a personal level or regards to you and your businesses, what were those difficult 2 years like during COVID? Did you find like your businesses were difficult or more difficult to sustain or run? Did you feel like you had to adapt to the fact that for cakes you can't deliver it to parties anymore because parties are non-existent? There are no events happening, so the amount of conferences that you potentially could have been branding, like how did you guys navigate those rough waters?
So I go first.
Yes,
okay,
please.
so what happened was, like me, I'm just going to shamelessly say like what happened. Like I had to move back home to my parents' house because business was not there and I was not able to sustain my workshop and my household. So I just literally bundled up my things and I told mom, hey, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Which was very, it was a very low moment for me, like going back home. But I went home and then, just from a random phone call with my mentor, and we spoke at length, and she just told me, you know what, you can't just say, hey, it is done. You have to really think about innovative ways to assure your clients of the safety of the product that they are getting.
Right.
Like, I'm sure even if people are not doing the big parties anymore, you can capture the smaller parties, like house parties, that has maybe 8 or 3 people within a small, enclosed space. So I went back into my whatever, and I figured that probably if I wrapped the cake boxes in a way that it was like airtight, completely airtight. So I was doing the whole thing of sanitizing the box, and I was doing it in video so that people can actually see what I'm doing. So I sanitized the box, and then now I put the cake inside the box. Of course, I'm wearing my gloves, and then I wrap it with cling film, like it's completely airtight, and I really just reassure guys that this cake is completely safe.
Yeah.
Like not 100%, but it's completely safe. Even by the time you're getting it, when you unwrap it, you can unwrap it literally and throw away the thingy and sanitize the box again, and then open your cake and have it. So those are the things that I did, and she was really impressed by that idea, and she was now buying cakes from me and distributing to her clients. So through that, her clients now gained confidence enough to now order from me directly. So that is how I rose up slowly from that. And then she told me again, you have to now come up with something else that is, different from what people are used to. So I started caking, things like microphones, handbags, hats, and all those things that are really, really exciting to people. So that also got a lot of traffic onto my social media handles, and so I started getting my orders slowly from there. And yeah, I think towards the end of the year though, when things were starting to open up a little bit, so those who are not able to do their weddings in January, now all of them were doing their weddings in December and November. So I got all those clients, and I did all those weddings. I did almost 20 weddings actually.
Oh wow!
No,
in
congratulations.
2020, yeah. So, but that one came as a result of the assurance that I gave before. These cakes are clean, they are sanitized, they are safe for consumption. Just to remove that fear that this virus could, get to me through these cakes. So out of that confidence, I was able to bag those clients that came to me in December. And plus, even over and above that, I'm a very prayerful person. So I really talk to God a lot concerning a lot of these things. So yeah, that also provided me with a lot of guidance on what to go and how to go about it. So yeah.
I mean, that resilience is because during such dark days, it's very difficult, I guess, to find a reason to keep on going. And you are lucky enough to actually be strong enough, be brave enough for long enough. So in December, you're able to sort of...
Absolutely, just regain the money that you lost per se. But let me tell you, parenting also does a number on you. You have a little human being who's taking you, is dependent on you, but they always catch you.
Can't stop.
You can't stop. You cannot stop. Because now, as in, your parents are not going to come through for you. The best they can do is give you a roof over your head and the food. But after your food, pia kuna benye unailipia. So that knowledge, that push also just gets you to, gets your head cracking. And there was actually this thing that was happening. I think is it Summit Africa? This thing that was being done by a business, something that was being done by TD Jakes at that time, but it was virtual. So BN was over there, and one thing that really stuck with me with what he said is, the people who are going to, take time and learn a skill within this period are the ones who are going to win out of this season. So that stuck with me, and I said, oh man, I have to skill up. I have a lot of time in my hands. Let me learn a new skill. Let me teach myself something that is way over what I have ever done before, and let that be my, anchor. So yeah, that's how
That's remarkable.
I managed, yeah.
I wish I met Lynn, just before COVID. I'm telling you, I would have saved myself a headache. Mine is a bit different because funny enough, Fred, 2 days, literally 2 days before the then Minister for Health, Mutahi Kagwe, announced COVID and a lockdown, I had just moved out.
I know.
I said, you know
Me
what?
too.
I have paid my deposit, I have paid my rent, I'm going to be a man through this time. And so I had just moved out. Typical guy structure, just had an air mattress and a TV, and I'm watching NTV and I have Wi-Fi, and so I'm watching TV and I'm seeing the country has gone into a lockdown, fellow Kenyans. I'm like, damn. Now, I'd say every dark cloud has a silver lining.
Absolutely.
Because as everyone was saying businesses were going down, that's when I had to crack my brain and think about, because I had just separated myself from my business. And I said, as much as I'm running Muka, I'm still an individual. So a couple months back, I had gotten a consultancy that I said, okay, let me just stick here for like 2-3 months. And then after it's done, we'll jump back into the grind while other people are managing the company. And so within the period of COVID, now I had to be on my toes because there are people depending on you to be paid at the end of the month, and you're thinking, crap, okay, I also have rent to be paid. You know, it's very nice when your parents are complaining about money, but you know, you guys would let us sleep on the streets.
Yes.
And so through the period, I noticed that, okay, guys need this live streaming done. Churches are out there, they still need to have their Sunday services going on, and they need to find a way to get it done. I was the first guy to say, hey, yo, guys, can I do your live streaming? I have a couple of cameras. We'll figure this out as it goes. There's a company that we're working for called the B Hub, which ideally just deals with tech. And I was introduced to the guy and he asked me, we're looking for a way to have our conferences because they have, I'd call them tech trainings, techpreneur sessions where you just inspire tech people in terms of what they're doing. And he reached out to me on a random drive when I was trying to clear my head, and he was like, listen, I'm looking for a way to have my session where everyone can attend but can't attend. I sat down and I thought, everyone can attend but can't attend. What are you talking about? And he's like, you know how like guys can interact like on Zoom or something? And I said, how about we run a live session? Because he was having guys from Norway who couldn't travel back to Kenya, guys in UK. I said, I have a couple of cameras. Let's do this. We did the first one and I realized, this actually went well. And guys were saying, thank you so much. We're feeling like, we're in the same room with everyone. And I said, there's my silver lining. This is how we're going into audiovisual now, guys. Right. Because I saw the opportunity, and it's one of the things that everyone needs to figure out. You need to be able to improvise and adapt to the situation. And so coming into the year of COVID, that opportunity presented itself and I realized, okay, now we can actually be providing these live links for these different organizations that need literally anything. You guys are having a launch of X, Y, and Z and you want a person in the States to check it out. Let's have a live link, And so live links became the new norm for church services, for launches of anything, for we're doing a merger or we're doing this press briefing. Funny enough, I attended a couple of press briefings at MOH and there were just about 5 to 6 journalists feeding different live streams to people, so you'd think every station is there. We literally found a way to make everyone there, but they're not there. And so I think my businesses or my aha moment came through some of those challenges I represented. But I will not ignore the fact that it was that consultancy that held me close.
Absolutely.
Because at night, dude, I'm telling you, you've used all your money on a TV, a nice big flat screen, and an air mattress, and you're like, wow. Things can get tough really quickly. And so it's just as you're saying, the resilience needs to be there. And one thing that every entrepreneur, anyone trying to get into business needs to know is optimism is the first skill you need. You need to wake up knowing you're the best. Even if you have never printed one shirt or made one cake. You need to wake up thinking you're the best.
I'm the best.
Because the day that as an entrepreneur you doubt yourself, it's trickling down into you just creating a bigger snowball. When you start asking yourself, I can't do this. I wake up in the morning and I have to affirm myself and I say, I will find a way. I have this target to hit, I will find a way. And it's never, how am I going to reach this target? It's not. It is, listen, you have set a target, you were sober-minded when you made it. It wasn't at midnight when you were in a random place. You made the target, and now that it's been made, jump in and find a way to do it. So it's optimism and that resilience. Because the challenges will come. 2 years ago, it's actually been 2 years. Wow, 2 years ago it was COVID. Another 2 years from now, you're going to
Could
be
be
in a
something
different
else.
season.
Yeah.
You can't just be an entrepreneur when the times are good.
Exactly.
You need to learn to be that self-employed guy when the
Absolutely.
times are tough, when the times are really tough.
Yeah, like how do you keep your head above water? Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
but I think also, like, I agree with you in a lot of ways. Like, it's just about your mindset also. Like, if you have that mindset of just giving up, like when a tough situation comes, then you're not opening up yourself to opportunities that could potentially get you out of that problem, you know. But if you, again, just say, you know, I know this issue is here, but I have to, like, get through it.
Yeah.
Then opportunities will definitely present themselves. Like, it also comes with just speaking to people, you know, like, and getting new ideas, and just, you know, those aha moments may come to you as you're just having conversations with people. Yeah. And I think it's all in the mind. For you, whatever you can achieve, it's all in your mind.
Yeah.
And I think even hence the book which says, like, think and grow rich.
Exactly.
You think it, and when it's in your head, then you will definitely achieve it.
And we definitely all have, we all have it within us to rise above
Absolutely.
these stormy waters, or whenever things are looking terrible. Because honestly, so COVID was a difficult period.
Yeah.
Stuff.
But yeah, it's that mindset and that sense of optimism, regardless of whatever it is you're going through.
Absolutely.
And also, I guess, the recognition that at the end of the day, there's something about a dream and the pursuit of a dream which is very difficult to abandon. So believing so firmly in what it is this dream is, it pushes you that extra level. Yes, we have people around us who will always be our support system,
Yeah.
but it has to begin from
you.
within. The engine is you, and then everyone else forms up the
Absolutely.
rest of the parts that you need.
Absolutely. You know, there's something that I listen to Caroline a lot, we talk of, and she has a lot of really wisdom nuggets to share with us young people. Like, and there's one thing that she say that, you know, we all have a dream. We all have been given that ability to really make something of ourselves. But what really separates you from those who actually make it is the intentionality to actually do it. So kuna wale wenye watasema, like, she was going for a talk at Centonomy 101, and it was a very cold morning, and she was like, so for you guys who have come here, and for those who actually said, it's never that serious, actually lale nyumbani, you know, so that's what actually what really separates those who make it and those who don't.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's all about it. Yani, you just pushing yourself, because I love baking, but I don't love baking every day. You know, I it's the discipline that keeps me there. You know, like, I have to do these things. I don't feel like doing it, but I still have to do it. Like,
And
get
do it
up
well.
and get going. Yeah. And do it very, very well without compromising the quality that you're being giving, even when you're inspired to do something. So it's the discipline that actually keeps you there and keeps you going.
That discipline is difficult, but so necessary.
Well, it's very true.
And that's actually what
Being
separates those who
consistently
make it and
disciplined,
don't.
yeah. A lot of times it's the difference maker. Being consistently disciplined.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, it's true, because I listen, I don't know how many people do it. People think it's weird, but I listen to these motivational talks every morning. I think it's the first thing that enters my brain, and I try and do it at night, but I know the schedule gets a bit tough. One of the things that Brian Tracy says in his motivational speeches is, do you know how many attempts people actually have to go through for them to fail at achieving their dreams? You find out that majority of people don't even start. Majority of the people who have failed at their dreams didn't even
It
go there
starts
one
and ends
time.
on here.
Then literally, I can aim, I can do this, and then, hey, how will I do this? And then, never even starts
Never.
doing it. And so just as Lynn is saying, that's actually the differentiator between the guys who are going to make it and the guys who are not going to make it. It's literally that, I want to start a podcast. Okay, let me just get 2 guys, we'll even record on our phones. Okay, we'll record on our phones and we'll edit and we'll do whatever needs to be done. In a couple of years, you're doing amazing things. And it's the same with these influencers. Let me just influence this one brand. Because everyone with those followers, you're thinking, but these are just my friends, will they buy? It's one of those things that you just need to start.
Absolutely.
It's not really complex, because one thing people need to realize is that self-employment is a journey. It's not a finish line. It's not that I want to be self-employed. it's the same way people say that it's not about having $1 million. It's about the person you become as you're getting
As
there.
you're getting there, absolutely.
It's more important to form that person than it is to be the person who has it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we think and we have this very bad mindset in Kenya, especially because I've talked to a couple of people, and when you see someone driving a nice car, the first thing is, this guy stole somewhere. and you
Illuminati.
see, exactly. We jump into Illuminati, we jump into entrepreneurs, we jump into, this guy knows someone in Gava.
Yeah.
And I tell people, just because we've talked about mindset, that, it starts in your mind. If you keep on believing that Fred has gotten to where he's gotten to because of something shady, every time an opportunity presents itself for you to get there, you're always going to shut it out.
Absolutely.
And it's the same with problems. If you're the kind of person who thinks everything bad happens to me, when a problem comes, you're like, yep, that is my portion in life.
It's become so comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the one thing that everyone says is that mindset is something you can change. You're fully in control of your mindset. All you need to do is just wake up every day and tell yourself something different.
Absolutely.
There's things that you cannot challenge. Don't challenge gravity. Don't think you can fly. No. But there are things about your mindset that you can come into and actually... You can talk yourself into being a talkative person.
Yes.
We say that, I'm just born an introvert. No. You just wake up in the morning and say, today I'm going to talk to like 10 people.
Yeah.
Even if it's just, hi, how was your day? How did you sleep? Done. 10 people. Tomorrow, 20 people. Next day, 30 people. And that's how it's the shaping of a mindset that entrepreneurship is every day of your journey, where you're able to just see something in you grow. It's like a plant. Okay, so even as you're chasing that dream, you're seeing the journey. You're seeing, because I can see where I started printing a small logo on a t-shirt to now some of the great things that are being done. It's been a journey, and I keep on asking myself, if I started there and I've gotten here, how far can I get tomorrow?
Absolutely.
And so,
it's just a limitless opportunities ahead.
the world is your oyster. I heard people say that, and now I fully understand it. That literally, this is an open canvas.
Yeah.
You can, and a lot of people, I was listening to Kiss today, I don't know how or why, but Kamene was talking about how some of these artists like Aya Star and all have gotten to where they've gotten to. Apparently Aya Star, as per what she said, has a Bachelor's of Arts in International Relations. Now she's a musician. And there's another lady who had a Bachelor's of Art in, I think, communication. Now she's a rapper. It's the same way. Hardly any entrepreneur is doing what they studied in uni.
Yeah.
And so it's
That's
literally, it's just you getting out of that comfort zone and saying, listen, I can do it. And if I can do it, I'm going to do it. Let me start today.
But I think also we really need to demystify this journey of entrepreneurship. Like, I really like what you're doing, Fred, about getting people here to talk about their journey, so that people actually realize that it is not Illuminati. It is not that I know people in high places in the government. No, it is literally me waking up early to work my ass off. Like, can I
Exactly.
It's not.
like,
There's a tea gonna come in.
okay, like, it's just literally me putting a lot of effort to like what it is that I do to get to where I am. And I think there's just a gap. There's a big gap between where these guys started and where they are. And that's why I really, really appreciated this thing that was being done on YouTube, the cleaning of the air, cleaning the air.
Cleaning the airways,
Yeah, and I had a lot of those stories. And I think particularly I loved Caroline's story of resilience, really. And there's one thing that she said that really stuck with me, because she's... I think she's a guru when it comes to marketing. Like, she really, really does it so well. And she said, like, of course, she has had people who have said no to her. Like, who says no to Caroline? And her mentality, the mentality that she takes with that no is what, like, really brings up the difference. Because, okay, you are no, and you're like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough, or so her mentality is, okay, think about it. I'll talk to you again, like, in 2 weeks. And let's see if your mind will change, So you're getting out of that conversation with a positive mindset that, okay, maybe they just don't know what it is that they're saying no to, and you're giving them an opportunity to really think about that product or service or whatever. And then when I come back to you, then now let's discuss, like, where are we putting, like, a trade-off, where are we adding, where are we subtracting, and all that. So when you have that, usieke hiyo nini kwa lung, kwa heart, weka kwa lung, breathe it in and breathe it out. Like, when you take things personally, then you do not grow, because you're going to get a whole lot of no's. And that is something that was my take home for me, and it's something that I'm still learning in my journey, to actually put myself out there to be told no or yes. Like, because if I want to scale up, then I literally have to go out there and look for clients. You know, like literally walk in with a Coke can made out of cake or whatever, or a Coke can, something like that, and go to the Coca-Cola, workshop. And I tell this guy, hey, I'm here. This is what I can do, and I want to be your supplier. That's it.
And I'm glad that she has brought in freebies, because we really need to talk about
and the value it can generate.
Exactly, we really need to talk about this pro bono work that I am pro pay the creatives, okay, and that one I am definitely 100% for. But you need to understand one thing that people don't see is every opportunity is a doorway to another opportunity.
Absolutely.
All right, the work that I do today for free for person X can lead to a marketing in person Y. But even if it doesn't, I have learned a new skill, or I've gotten more confidence, because if I do work for, let's say, Tascam, because it's the first thing in front of me, if I do an ad for Tascam and they don't pay me for it, but they use my ad, at the back of my mind, I know I've done a good job.
I did that.
That now they want to show, and I'm going to put it on my portfolio and say, I've worked for Tascam. Did they pay me? No, I don't have to be paid because... it's the same thing that they say about...
You can literally own it because
I work for Tascam. Did Tascam pay you? Did they contract you? But my ad is on their social media. So I worked for Tascam. It's a big company.
Yeah.
And so the thing that a lot of entrepreneurs need to understand is, for people to understand your value, you need to actually give them your time.
Yes.
That's it. Before anyone can hire me to do anything for them, the first question is, have you done this before? If I've never done this before, I'm like, okay, listen, let me do it for free so you can see what I can do. Tomorrow, you can pay for the service. What a lot of us want to do is jump onto the bandwagon of pay creatives. It's been twisted so much, because people don't understand that it got to a point where friends were asking for free things, and also organizations were asking for free things from guys who already have a brand. But the guys who don't have a brand, and your brand is literally people are talking about you out there, about what you can do. If I've never tasted Lynn's cakes and she comes and gives me a free cake, and I'm like, hey, okay, that's a really good cake. That's a form of marketing.
It is.
We're talking about freebies, but look at it as a form of interpersonal marketing.
Yeah.
I've given you my product for free just so that you can see how dope it is, so that tomorrow you can pay for my product.
Absolutely.
Exactly. It might cost me a bit, but okay. What are you investing in your own marketing?
Thank you. That's the word.
Exactly.
Investing.
Are you taking the time?
In yourself,
Can I shoot you a 5-10 minute commercial?
Absolutely.
And then you see how good my work is, so that, because someone will see your work, especially if you know your work is good.
Absolutely.
You'll give Fred in fact, me, if I was a baker, 2 kg cakes would be like this. Fred cannot eat a 2 kg cake alone. Exactly. He has to share, or it's going to go bad in his fridge.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so you sit down and you're there like, okay, fine, she's given me a 2 kg cake. Mukiza, John, Mary, you guys, see, we have cake. Okay, so hey, this is a good cake, Fred. Where did you get it?
From? Those are for clients.
Exactly.
Or I have Freddie, as in, I had a cake.
That cake at your place. See, we do something.
Yeah.
And you see, and funny enough, when I first met Fred, that's where one of my 3rd or 4th clients came from. Where she was starting a business, and she was like, hey, Mukiza, I saw the work you guys used to do for, we call it Youth Plus at the time. And so I've seen the work you used to do with Kina Fred for Youth Plus. Are you able to make me a logo for my business and just set up my marketing? I was like, yeah, of course. Twende tukienda. She brought me like 3 other clients. And Youth Plus, we were doing it because we were so passionate about entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
We needed a space to just vent. We needed group therapy.
That's actually, that is so important, let me tell you, because now you get to, understand different people's experiences, and you learn something, so that you're not like in your own cocoon, dying over there with your own issues.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I really agree with you that, as in, you give freebies where you think it could come back, even if it does not. Because I think I've done a whole lot of freebies to people, but there's one that I particularly do not regret. Like, I gave a friend of mine, so this is the whistleblower for me, kwa yo marketing nilikuwa natafuta. So I just gave him like 12 cupcakes, like for free, go share with your family. But I knew at the back of my head, he's not a cake person. So I gave him 12 cupcakes, and he gave his wife, gave his neighbors, gave everybody around his community. And now those people are now coming to me, and that guy is like, I don't know, the president of expatriates. So he posted my name and number in their expatriates group, and that is where I got now the really, really good, well-paying clients. And now when this person hosts their friends, these friends come to that party, and then now these friends are like, where did you get your cake? So that's how the network just
It
grows.
grows.
Out of 12 cupcakes, now you've gotten like a whole lot of money that is way above what
Exactly.
the value of that cupcake, those
And
cupcakes
it's all that interpersonal relationship.
Yes.
That investment in give me a chance.
Exactly.
I can do what I'm saying I can do, and I can do it well, consistently.
Yes.
And that kind of marketing is cheaper than a billboard, cheaper than an ad on Citizen
Yeah.
or any other media station, because it hits directly to the person. And when someone can speak well about your product or your service, it carries a lot more weight and
That's the
credibility.
best form of marketing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you see, these guys trust this guy. Like if you
from where I worked with Mukiza, he's
say
never
that
let me
Mukiza
down.
does an amazing job, I trust you.
Exactly.
So I will definitely give him a chance. Yeah.
Definitely.
Because it's actually something that a lot of people ask me. Because I remember even Fred asked me, dude, just share with me your social media handles. And I told him, me, just pick my handles. Because when it comes to marketing, one of the biggest challenges I had is, you know, those guys who find you, because especially when you're offering a service, they'll find you on Instagram or Facebook and they're always quick to say, I can find someone cheaper. You're spending a day convincing someone, listen, just take it for this, just take it for this. Then there are those clients who Bramwell will bring and they will say, Bramwell sent me to you, he told me you charge this 40K, but can you do it for me for 35? You know, they'll never push you down too much.
Yeah.
Those guys are the least stressed people. So what I did is I sat down and I said, let me focus on my network marketing and let me not put too much weight on my social media marketing.
Right.
Social media is great. Now, I'm not telling guys, no, I'm saying it's great. But you need to understand that in the line of work that you're in, what kind of marketing works for you?
Absolutely.
Okay?
That
What,
makes
what,
sense.
what makes sense for you?
Yeah.
Because Coke is doing a lot of ads on social media doesn't mean that your brand will also
Try to
make
that,
it there.
Yeah.
We keep on asking, I don't know what company it is that doesn't have ads. Is it Rolex or Maybach or something that doesn't have ads, but they still sell millions of cars?
Even coming back home, like I've never seen an ad on baking powder.
Actually. Exactly. And no one has ever, I've never seen an ad on salt. Okay? And there are those guys who just put their ads in the business lounge of the airports. Because as long as you're sitting in the business lounge, you're not a stressful client. You will see my product.
Yeah.
So it's very important for entrepreneurs not only to kick the door open and say, listen, here is your Coca-Cola cake, whether you want to give me more cake orders or not. I have made it. I have worked for Coke, whether you like it or not. As much as you're kicking down the door, it's also a lot of understanding your market. Understand the kind of person, who is your target audience.
Market analysis.
Exactly. Would you buy from you? Okay. If I was, because it's the one thing that I keep on doing. How can I convince me? And me, I don't like spending my money. I love to see it. I love to see it in my account. So I keep on asking myself, how can I spend my money? What would make me spend my money?
That's
And
challenging.
as soon as you can answer for yourself that question, what would make me buy my cakes? Did I see the cake on a billboard and I said, I've seen this cake on a billboard, let me order the cake? Very unlikely. But if it is because Fred, who is my friend, has tasted my cake and is going to eat my cake, then you see you've opened the door for, this is the marketing I'm going to do. For every order I get, I'm going to be giving a free cake to so-and-so just so that they can do X, Y, and Z.
That's actually quite validating.
So I mean, looking forward and with the success you guys have had so far and the success that awaits, what's for you and your companies? What's next for you guys? How are you thinking to grow? Because I know for sure you guys are not happy, because the way I know the both of you, you're both very personally driven. So what's next for the both of you?
Well, Bramwell.
Bramwell is there. Me,
Bramwell,
you need to tell us. Alright, I'll go first. And for me, honestly, when you ask me what's next, I need to see a thing I've done on Netflix or on Showmax or something. I want to produce something because I'm based on the line of work that I've been able to do for the past 3 years. I'm really passionate about telling people stories. And we're not really talking about brands and all, but we're talking about development organizations and how or what their impact in the communities is. We're talking about drought. And I feel like we'd talk about drought in a different perspective if we were shown a documentary from Wajir or one of the drought-affected areas to actually see, and I'm not talking about these woye things. I'm talking about something, an emotional storytelling. Okay, something that can show you that we were facing drought in 2015. We just put in one irrigation to 2017, and we're able to get to this point. This is the outcome. Okay, I'd love to shoot a documentary that would be showcased in an international standpoint. I've done one that was about teen moms in Kibra, and since I did that in 2020, I think it sparked something that showed me when you're telling other people's stories, you reach the hearts of so many people. Okay, because there's so many stories to be told, and people are so scared to tell them. And so when you ask me what's next, I'd want a show or a clip on an international platform where everyone can see. One, that Africa is not the Africa that we all think it is. Like the capital of Africa is not Kenya or Egypt, or it's an individual, and there are different stories to be told in the stories of Africa. Might actually pick that up. Stories of Africa. Yeah. So what's next for me is I want to take it a notch higher and actually produce to the standards of Netflix.
Wow. That's actually really nice. And I think it is just by God's grace that you went first, because you've mentioned things that I think I might communicate with, take you up on away from this. Like that the documentary that you did on the teen moms. Because I was just explaining to Fred, that's another trajectory that I want to do. Besides my baking, as a giving back to the community, would like to tell those stories. But aside from that, for me, the way forward is definitely that, focus on that project, but also with regards to my business is to focus more on corporate cakes. And I really want to dive into that market because it has not been explored as much. I initially wanted to focus on wedding cakes, but I felt like that market is so saturated. But I wanted to now focus more on corporate cakes, because what it is right now is just the boring square cakes with a logo on top, and that's it. People are cutting, and I'm just like, oh God, we can do better than this. If it is a launch in Toyota, I mean, literally cake a car. If anything, if it can hoot, if it can move around a little bit, I mean, that's an experience. And you see, for that kind of a cake, because I was making, as I told you, I was making all these, improving my skill in making these let me call them experiential cakes, where you can take something like this and, okay, this is cake. Because initially he was talking about, this is not our competition in Kenya. Our competition is abroad. So I've been watching cake shows of things being done abroad, the School of Chocolate, there is Buddy, the Cake Boss, there is Yolanda Gump, there is Georgia. So all these people I watched during COVID. And I just say, let me borrow a leaf from each and every one of them and see how I can bring that back home. But I realized such cakes were not being appreciated by an individual. Mukiza will not be able to afford the amount of work and effort and whatever that I put on this cake. A 1 kg, I would charge 17,000. You wouldn't be willing to pay 17. Much as it's a beautiful cake and everything, you wouldn't be willing to give 17,000 for that cake.
Yeah, true.
But a corporate will. So if I can identify a few, even I already identified 5 corporates that I want to approach, Coke being one of them. I hope they're hearing.
We are bringing you a cake. We're bringing you a cake.
It's quite opportune because we're heading towards end of the year, so end of year company parties.
Definitely. So that is the trajectory that I want to take right now. Much as yes, I am still doing the birthday cakes, but for me, I think I want to focus more on corporate cakes and making them a little bit more experiential and, just changing the whole story about corporate cakes with the boring logos on top of a square cake with a few decorations on the side and all that. So I want to challenge myself and go beyond what is being done presently with corporate cakes. So that is the trajectory I want to take.
Yeah, I mean, pushing the envelope. And I think as young people, we definitely have that balance of bravery with naivety. We don't know how far we can go. And we're not afraid to push that envelope a little bit. There's this analogy I had a while back about, and it gave me a bit more, I guess, comfort whenever I was feeling stranded business-wise. Big companies who have 200 people working for them are more like the Titanic. But if it's you and yourself, or you and your small team, you're more like a speedboat. So in the face of trouble or in the face of an opportunity, it's much easier for the speedboat to adjust its trajectory than
That's
it
right.
is a ship to
Or a
sail
ship
the
to-
Titanic.
yes, that's actually right.
So
That's very right.
nice. It's exciting to hear what you guys are looking forward to, and please, msinisahau.
Of course not.
Muka.
Of course. Yes, please.
So that's going to be our show for today. Thank you so
Awesome.
much, guys, for coming.
Awesome. That's it.
Yeah.
We had
That was
so many stories.
Yeah.
No, he made
Let
us
me do
read a
this.
PDF and he has not asked even more.
One
We have notes.
Literally, here no.
I can do this. We can actually come back. I can have you guys back, and we
Version
can
two.
delve into. Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot. We've just scratched the surface. There's a lot more that we can cover for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If you want to keep up with Lynn on social media, you can follow her at Lynn. That's LYNN_blinked. And if you want to keep up with Mukiza on Instagram, he's at Mukiza Mwenesi, as well as Twitter, and on Facebook it's Mukiza Mwenesi. I'll drop links to your pages and your businesses
Awesome.
and your contacts as well in the
Definitely.
description. And yeah, man, thanks for coming through. Thanks for taking
Thank
the
you
time.
for having us.
We have to do it again.
Yeah,
There's
definitely. Please.
there's a lot of things even I want to hear more on.
Yeah.
And address like the Google/YouTube University,
Yeah.
the most underrated but perhaps the most valuable
They should
school
start
of.
charging for that school.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
All right, thanks guys, and we'll see you next week.